What I've observed in this culture is women are being taught that I need to take care of a man.
It's not only with dating women who are from this culture, it's also dating women who have been influenced and affected by the ideologies of the West.
These people are big on getting money, even if they have to scheme, plot, lie, and thief. She said to him,
I was seen as being manipulative because the
women
women
here
outside are having problems with the men here.
They should just stay together.
I've heard a lot of males saying that they don't like women. Realize that the woman might not be an IG body, but I love my wife, so I would never cheat. Women don't like men who they can walk over.
How is it gonna be real and deep and unfiltered if I'm going to not tell my story? Me no business. I'm not going to filter a goddamn thing.
Alright, share your story.
I love you too. I love you too. Yeah. I love you so.
Like she a tell she don't love me.
Which are parts? No, sir. Yeah.
If she never loved me, she woulda never did right. Yeah, so right, yeah, no. Come on, be good. Yeah, man, we just have what of vibes. Well, a meditation. Hey, me no know. My wife always a take away mine. Me no know what go on with that. She just always a take away mine. Look how the mic said right over there. So, Bridget, just put the mic as on a star.
Okay.
Just like that, you
Bass,
see.
Mr. Boombastic.
Yeah, you know, you're up to the time, you know, it's
Take off your phone off the table and put your glass out to the edges.
Sorry.
You might need it.
No, I'm gonna need it rest.
All right. The time is now 1:10 a.m. The time is now 1:10 p.m. We have scattered thunderstorms.
Yes, Rastan, I'm saying that we are here one more time,
All right.
another time, to talk about the problems that lies deep down within this society. And one of the things that we want to talk about today is the whole idea of the man them hating the woman them Rasta. Why? Fire! How can you call yourself a real man and you hate the woman them Rasta?
How can you call yourself a real woman and you don't like man?
As a matter of fact, I want to change the topic to the woman them we are thief people, man.
Oh my God.
Stop it.
Oh my God. All right. Hello. No, starting to say.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unfiltered Heart Talks with the Dawkins. We are so happy to have you here.
All right. Welcome, guys. Welcome. We are here for another one.
Yes.
Another lovely
conversation.
Conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And today we are just going to have a conversation.
Yeah. We're just going to let it flow.
We're going to let it flow. We're going to have a conversation that is raw, natural, real.
I mean, like this is raw. We're going to have an unfiltered conversation, an unfiltered talk from our hearts.
Raw conversation from the heart.
Yes.
All right. And of course, as always, we want to invite our community to be a part of these conversations. We want to hear your feedbacks in the comment section.
Yes. Leave your comments.
We want to, share your thoughts. Tell us what you think about what we talk about. Share your 2 cents, as we say in Jamaica.
Yes.
We want to hear your 2 cents and we want you to add to the conversation so that we can have the opportunity to read some of those comments.
Yes.
Right? And talk about them. So
yes. Yeah. And remember, the purpose of us being here and sharing our experience is that someone else can learn from us, but we also want to grow with you all. We want this to be a community, a place where we all share valuable information that can foster growth here.
Yes, and be impactful.
Yes, impactful conversation.
Yes, in such
genuine.
A way. Yes. So we are here.
So you do the introduction, baby.
And we are going to be talking about a very controversial topic. Is it controversial? Do you think this topic is controversial at all?
There's a lot of sticky areas where
Trigger words,
stuff you know.
like
so yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit controversial in the sense where it has created a rift between men and women, you know, so.
And a cultural rift between cultures, you know.
Yeah.
This culture, that culture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And now you find that people want to stick, you know what? I don't want to be with this person because they're a part of this culture. So I want you, let me go back to my culture. Or you're choosing a different culture over another.
Or you don't want to have anything to do with women, or you don't want to have to do anything with men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So today we're talking about dating and culture.
Dating within this culture.
Dating within this culture and our experience with
our,
that.
Yes. Our personal experience, what we have experienced. I'm so curious to hear about what you have experienced. We have actually never really, I mean, we usually have conversations about dating and culture, but I have never really heard about your experises.
No, and I've never really heard of yours either. You have never so I'm actually excited to know what you've been doing.
just make sure. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited. So, let me ask you first.
Okay.
Based on your experience, how do you view dating now versus back then?
Okay.
Especially where this culture is concerned.
Dating then versus now. I'm going to go far beyond my time because I just born yesterday.
Right. Take your time.
I believe that dating then was more structured. Meaning that men were prepared to enter the field of relationship, courtship, marriage. And women were also prepared. And that made things a little bit more, maybe not necessarily easier, because having to deal with anybody is never easy.
Right.
But it was a little bit more structured. Now, what we have and what I've observed in this culture is we have men and women that are in relationships today are not ready for those relationships.
Yes.
And what I've observed personally in this culture, the Western culture, especially where I'm at, is that mothers have their sons or their daughters, and they coddle them, especially the sons. They coddle them to this point where when it comes time for this man to go out into the world, to have a family, it's almost like they're deformed. They can't do it. So, and this is as a result of the mother excluding the father from the family in compliance with the system for a check.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
So what happens is that she has this little son here. He grows up. He's now a man, and she's desperately trying to shoo him off to get into a relationship, preferably with a responsible woman who will be able to shoulder all the responsibilities that she shouldered before, right? And when she shoves him off into a relationship, she's doing that to alleviate the pressure and all the work that should have been done by her alongside her husband. So you're going into this world, and I'm seeing, personally from my experience, I've seen a lot of boys, man-childs out there.
Are men who have not yet fully developed.
Men who have not fully developed.
Yeah.
To be able to handle the responsibilities of a relationship. So they desire a woman who is mature, who has things going, so that woman can be in the stead of his mother. The only difference is that there are sexual benefits involved. And not just to beat down on the men. Women, even though they are raised in homes where it's mostly predominantly mothers, they are being taught that I need to take care of a man. I see that happening. They're being taught. Of course, they learn the things that they should from their mother because they're around their mother more than the son is around the father. And they just learn that this is my responsibility to hold things down. I need to rise to the occasion because I am the provider. I'm the this, I'm the that. And that's what I've seen the difference as. Then both male and female were prepared to shoulder the responsibilities in their respective areas. Now we have the dynamic shift where dad is out of the home and mom is shouldering everything. The daughter is seeing that and seeing that that's what she has to do. And the son wants somebody like mama to take care of him.
I think
it's touchy.
Yeah. As I listen to you speak, I begin to question myself. When did the shift in dating started? Because I think it started somewhere. And I'm thinking about back then versus now, where women back then understood their responsibilities. But one of the things that we saw back then, men were also more in the homes.
Yes.
And so sons and daughters were being raised by their fathers and mothers. So the fathers were more in the home. And so these young males, these young boys were being developed in a more masculine way.
Mentally,
physically, mentally, and all of that. The father is in the home. Like for me, I can talk about my experience. Even though my father wasn't in the home, but there were certain norms within my community where I grew up, and I saw men going to the farm, and they were taking their children with them. Especially the young males, they were going to the farm, they were working in the fields, and they were doing all of that stuff. You're gonna ground, you're gonna drive out yam with your father, the donkey. We have to make sure, say, the donkey ready, you put on the hamper. All of these things you had to do as a male child growing up. As well as, for me, I grew up learning how to wash my own clothes from a very, very young age.
Yeah, you get your socks and your ribbon, panty and thing.
Yeah. Well, not the pants. not the pants for you. I'm talking about me.
Yeah.
Right. So all of those things you would have to learn to do. Another thing is even iron my clothes.
Yes.
Like I learned to iron my clothes from I was going to all age school.
Yeah.
That was very young. And I learned how to cook. There was a lot of things I learned to do. I had like male figures in my life who used to go to the farm very often. And of course I would go with them, as well as my mother had her own farm. And I needed to take up that responsibility and basically try to fit my father's shoes.
Yes.
So back then, I think males were being raised differently. They were raised more manly versus now, males are raised to be soft and a little bit more feminine,
I definitely agree. Boys are not raised much with their dads anymore. And that is taking from the training that they would get from their father.
Right.
And not to say that boys cannot learn something from their moms. You're gonna learn something from both parents, but predominantly, primarily, most of the training that a boy needs is gonna come from his dad, and most of the training that a woman needs is gonna come from her mom. But she learns both. A girl can learn from her dad, and a boy can learn from his mom.
And to add to that, there are certain aspects of life that the female child, she needs to get that from her
dad.
Father.
Yes.
There are certain conversations that needs to be had, and the female child needs to have those conversations with the father. So it shows the importance of fathers being in the home, to help with the rearing of the children or of the child. It's very, very vital. And I believe that dating started to decline with the increase of absent fathers, increase of absent fathers.
Decrease, yeah.
One of the challenges that we have also seen during the rise of the feminism movement is the whole idea of passport boys. And that was a huge thing on the internet, where American men were said to be leaving America to find women who were more traditional. And the challenge was that American women were no longer viewed as being traditional. They want traditional men, but they were no longer viewed as being traditional. So men were leaving, going outside of the country to find traditional women. And of course, with that, we saw where Caribbean women, among other women, were also having the challenge with American men. Yes. And it makes you wonder
if it's just a Western problem.
If it's just a Western problem.
I honestly believe so. I honestly believe so. Because I don't know if when you came here, you experienced a culture shock. But there are so many things that are happening here that just wouldn't happen back at home. And I'm not saying, Jamaica is paradise. It's its own little oasis. It's not a perfect place, and neither is anywhere in the world.
Right.
But some of the things I observed here shook me to my core, right? Where it concerns dating and relationship, I know so many stories of Jamaican women or women from the Caribbean or women that are not from America, dating men within this culture, and their stories are the exact same as mine, just different faces and different names. It like plays out like a textbook. And I've heard of cases where men from a different culture get involved with an American or Westernized woman, and it's hell on earth.
Yeah.
So from my observation, I can say it's something with the Western culture.
But it's not only with dating women who are from this culture. It's also dating women who have been influenced and affected by the ideologies of the West.
Western ideologies.
You know, when I was dating, one of the things that I stopped doing, and let me tell you why. I found out that there were a lot of women going on dinner dates with men, and it was their habit.
Just to have a meal.
Yes, it was their habit.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And it reached the point where I'm saying that if you can't go for a walk with me, and not even that, when I analyze the whole first date thing where men were taking women to dinner, if that's what you want to do,
if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
But for me, I don't think that a dinner date would be the best place for a first date for me. A dinner date by yourself or with someone else is an already awkward place, right? You are not completely comfortable sitting down in a restaurant having a meal, with a bunch of different people. So it's an already awkward experience by yourself, much less to take someone who you don't know. Can you imagine the level of awkwardness you have within that environment? It does not necessarily or really give me time to truly know the person that is sitting across from me. So for me, I prefer my first date to be something simple or something fun. So let's go bowling, or let's go to there's this place that I used to go to. It's just a fun place that you can go and play different games. And it really puts you in a place where you can get to see someone's true personality. There's this saying, I don't remember it correctly, but if you want to see someone's personality, you have to take them outside of their comfort zone. You bring them to a place where they can just be natural and be themselves. And I think that with that, you are better able to see someone for who they are rather than just sitting down at a dinner table having dinner. I don't think that it does justice to the reality of getting to know someone, So that's one of the challenge also that you find with some women take it as a practice to just go have dinner with different men in expensive restaurants, and they know from the get-go that they are not interested in these men. That was one of the challenges I saw in my dating experience, where if I want to take somebody out on a date, I usually ask, so what would you like to do? And if they say dinner date, it would just be a huge red flag for me, because I'm thinking, oh, you're just one of those girls who want to go have dinner.
Yeah.
And then you had dating app is just a crazy place. Talk about dating app and the whole dating app experience. You meet a bunch of people and it's really, people are just not genuine. Have you ever been on a dating app before?
Yes, I have. It's not the best place to meet someone. I think the generic, it's more natural to go about getting to know somebody by meeting them and seeing them face to face. And back to what we were talking about, a lot of Caribbean women or women that are not from this culture are having a tough time dating men that are from
This culture.
You know, from my observation, from my past marriage, when you talk about lack of integrity, when you talk about the victimization mindset, it's them against us. He had this mindset where it's a white man against me. And I get it. I'm not negating the fact that racism exists. But I do not want to live the rest of my life a victim of racism.
Right.
You know, you have to rise above that. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery, as Bob Marley rightfully says. So when you talk about victimization mentality, very rich in this culture, especially in these men. When you talk about lack of integrity, I remember standing in the kitchen when I was married.
Sure you was, sure that.
Yes! And I was standing in the kitchen and I was preparing a meal.
Yes.
And right behind me was my then husband in the kitchen having a conversation with his aunt. And it seemed like at that point he wanted to get some housing apartment so that he could rent out a part of it, so he can get some money for school or some money for whatever, right? And another thing too, these people are big on getting money, even if they have to scheme, plot, lie, and thief, right? So in the kitchen, we're there, and he's planning out this plan of how he wants to get this place, but he can't qualify for the place because one, he's not working and he does not keep a job. That's another thing. Some of these guys, especially some of the Black American men, not all of them, but some of them can't keep a job. So he couldn't keep a job, and he wants to find some way to apply and qualify for a duplex or multi-apartment complex, right? And I'm in the kitchen there. They're having their discussion. And the aunt said to him, and the aunt is a notary public, she said to him, no problem. They're not going to know. We could just, do up some, fake pay stubs. Me no business.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
Some fake pay stubs. And I was like, they were having this discussion like it's just having tea. And I looked around, and when my eyes and his made four, he didn't think to himself, the look in his eyes was like, no, I'm not gonna do that, auntie.
Pause.
This is my story. I was there. The look in
but I'm just thinking about.
Okay, let me just finish off with the lack of integrity, the dishonesty, and people. I found that a lot of people will do from what I've seen. A lot of people will have no problem lying, have no problem, scheming and plotting. How is it gonna be real and deep and unfiltered if I'm going to not tell my story? People want me to cover up and be cute. Thinking about what?
The idea.
Idea of what?
Come, lower your voice.
No, idea of what?
I'm just thinking about the whole.
So I'm not gonna say, no, say that in the documentary because this and I'm not going to filter a goddamn thing.
Alright, share story. You say things like him hit you or things him do to you.
Let's continue.
Different.
Let's continue.
But that's
continue.
just what
because guess what? When you're in marriage and you get into shit like that, your ass is on the fire if your husband do crap. So that is my business.
We are talking to so.
You.
Do not speak to me like that.
I apologize for that. The lack of integrity here is huge. And I wouldn't say Jamaica or any other country is top tier on any form of integrity or perfect in any way. However, here it's on steroids. It's like everything here is on steroids. Everything in this culture is on steroids.
Right. I was talking to this one girl, and she goes to the same church. Father, everybody is involved in the church. Everything. She tells me she's a Christian. Because that's one of the things that guided my dating, is that I wanted to make sure that the woman is a Christian woman, a woman who believes in God. and have that relationship. But you find sometimes that people say that they are Christians and they believe in God, but Christianity means anything here, and everybody is a Christian. You know, rappers are Christians, people who steal are Christians, people who kill. Christianity is just a name that is being thrown around, and everybody is a Christian, you know. And if you are not careful, you get caught up into this whole idea of I'm a Christian, but I can do whatever I want, you know. Just everything that you would not do in your culture as a Christian person, you find that people do it here in their culture. And it's kind of crazy. So even as a strong-minded male who wants to find a spiritual woman, you really have to be careful when a woman tells you, or when a guy says that to you that he's a Christian, when a woman says to you as a man, she's a Christian. What does that mean? What does that look like? Another thing is that when you talk about males here in North America and males elsewhere, like in the Caribbean, it's like you're talking about two different set of species. You know, men that comes from the Caribbean, well, what I know, we're hardworking.
Yes.
We are go-getters. Like, when I see young men from my country come here, we don't come here to sit down.
You see
we come here to work and to make a life.
And you know the funny thing is, when we watch Pop the Balloon and Find Love, we can almost single out the girl or the guy that
who
is
is
just
not from this culture. Yep, you definitely can.
You can just single them out. And then when you waiting, something was different about you.
Yeah.
When I was like, why
you
was I drawn?
That mindset.
Yeah, you can hear the difference in the mindset.
Yep.
You know, they have a little bit more roots. They have roots. I don't even want to say more. They have roots. When I started liking Candace Owens and the things that she was saying, I'm like, there's something different about this girl. She's not the average.
She's not that.
And then I see she mentioned in one of her podcasts that, you know, she has some roots in one of these Caribbean countries. And I'm like, that's why. And it almost seems like if somebody has some form of tenacity and some form of, you know, a deeper mindset, is not shallow, then they have to have some roots elsewhere. We're raised with somebody that was from this way. And you know what the funny thing is? My sister said one time, and I never understood it because I was in Jamaica at the time. She said, before she pick up one of them man yaso, she go back a yard and brush off one of the man them and bring them up here, come marry them. Right. And I never understood it till my experience.
I think men here are more feminized.
Absolutely.
Like, when you talk about men from other parts of the world, a lot of the countries, a lot of places that other men come from to come here, these are hard places, rough. You know, rough to the point where not even inner city boys in America
can't manage that.
Can't manage them kind of money. You know? I remember, for example, let me give you an example. When we were in high school, I remember I did cross country, right? And me come from Chilani. I'm from Chilani. That's a yam parish. It's a farming parish. And it's a cockpit country. You know, it's filled with the mountains and the valleys. And when we were doing cross country at my first high school, we started at the bottom of a mountain. Okay? And end at the top of the mountain.
Wow.
When I went to Victor Dixon High School.
We just did the plane. And maybe up at NCU.
We were doing cross country at Victor Dixon High School. And I remember you had, I don't remember the police guy name. He was there on the bike. Let me tell you something. That bike changed gears like worse to keep up with me.
Wow.
Because when I asked in fact, when I was sitting down and I remember there were a number of guys, and when the race started, they said, Kevin, you're not going. I'm saying, no, so I'm going to do it for you. And I just got up and I started running down the guys. And I remember when I passed most of the guys and we went up NCU Hill. And I remember asking somebody, how many hills are we going to have to do? Because I wanted to know how to pace myself. And they said, we're going to do this hill, which was the first hill to get up to NCU. And when you go through NCU, there's another hill and that's it. Everything else. I said, what? That's crazy. Flew over that hill, I was in first place. Go around NCU, flew over the other hill, and everything else was downhill.
So the hardship that you experienced in Trelawney
as a country,
you.
as a country boy, as a countryman. When I went to NCU, it was like it's a piece of cake to the point where when I went in with the tickets, the teacher said that's not possible. So what do you mean, Seymour? What is it, Seymour? No, probably not. Probably I'm thinking about Pastor Seymour. That's not the police guy's name.
Yeah.
But the police guy, when he went around, he brought me around, gave me all the 3 tickets, and the teacher, it was a point of contention. They were saying that, no, that's not possible. There's no way you can run cross country so fast. And I had all 3 tickets. I had the tickets at all points, but they didn't believe me. And the police guy had to come back around to tell them, no, I followed him and he had me changing gears in this bike just to keep up with him. You know, so there's a vast difference between countrymen and city boys. And there's a vast difference between men who are from the Caribbean who used to hard work or other international men who used to hardship within their country versus American men.
So the thing is now, it's obviously an issue. An issue that we probably
it's an issue
can't
within
fix.
the culture itself.
Within the culture itself that we probably can't fix. We just probably have to go, you know, as I've said in my previous videos on Note to Self 360. If you have not seen that video, go check it out. It is 10 Commandments, a message to new U.S. immigrants. I speak about if you cannot find somebody within your culture, and it's not just cultural compatibility. Well, it's majorly cultural compatibility.
And the retraining of culture and all that.
If you can't find somebody within your culture, stay single. Just stay single. Like I'm not being mean or anything. Just stay single, because everybody loves the novelty. But then when it comes to the nitty gritty and the lifelong, you know, challenges that you're gonna have and the expectations, it's gonna get rough. The novelty will wear off, and you're going to wonder, okay, where's this going? So how do we solve this issue? You
know, when I don't think that it's an issue.
Or people should just stay with their culture.
When I think I would say this. This is my belief. I believe that you stand a best chance going with your culture. That's number one. And we have seen it in America where a lot of ethnic groups date within their cultures.
Yes.
Like Indians date within their culture. Most Asians date within their culture. Do you have exceptions? Of course.
Of course there are exceptions.
There are a lot of exceptions in every culture. But a lot of culture have recognized the difficulty in dating just people here with the mindset that they have. And they're different. And I think that people who are here, and it's so crazy because if the men here are having problems with the women here, and the women outside are having problems with the men here,
they should just stay together.
Maybe they should just stay together.
Oh my
gosh.
You
know, and it's not even funny, but let me tell you some of the challenges that I've had. Women think that if a man is emotional, in the sense that
some women do.
Yeah, some women think that if a man is emotional, and there's something that is considered too emotional. If you're complaining and ball over everything, then God have mercy, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes I want to be able to come home and be sweet, soft, and mushy with my wife. And if I'm not able to do that with you, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
Because it's not a case like you're my homie. So every time I'm going to be hardcore and, you know, I go on my youth. Yeah, man. You know, so I go up on the road to the door youth and, yeah, you don't want to be that way with your woman.
Yeah.
You want to be able to come home to have that soft, sweet side of you, and you want to just unload that on her so that she can feel loved, feel the care, the warmth, and all of that. And then there are times when you might have a bad day and you just want to talk to your woman and have a conversation, and you want her to give you some words of affirmation, you know, encourage you, motivate you, words of wisdom, because face the fact, sometimes men think stupidly.
Yeah, sometimes men are illogical.
Yeah. You know,
very logical.
And we need a voice of reason to set us back on the right path.
Yeah.
You know, so you want to be able to ensure that the person that you're going to be with is someone who has those qualities, you know, possess those qualities. So of course, if you're going to be dating a woman as a man, then you want to ensure that she has these qualities and she's someone who you can make your potential wife.
Yeah.
I dealt with a situation where I was seen as being manipulative because, and this is why I tell you about the feminism mindset. Sometimes you have people who just buy into this thing. You have a lot of women who buy into this thing and they just throw words around.
Yeah.
It doesn't
not
necessarily
really
really understand
the
it.
meaning of everything.
And this is how I was a manipulator, because I had boundaries for myself as a man. I had standards and I have principles. And there are certain things that I don't like my woman wearing. I should not be telling my woman what to wear. But if you come to me within something and ask for my opinion and it's provocative, I'm going to tell you that it's provocative and I don't like it. If you can't respect me, then, it's going to be a split. And a lot of women in West will say, oh, he's insecure, and it's not about insecurity.
So what if the man where does the man stand that has no problem with his woman dressing provocatively?
Let me tell you, it is an insecure man who sits at home and allows his woman to dress and wear and act provocatively, especially outside of his absence. Only place she should be provocative is in his presence, But if a woman thinks that it makes the man that you are dating more secure, it's not so.
Repeat that.
It is an insecure man who sits at home and allows his woman to wear and do anything provocatively outside of his presence. It is because I am secure within myself and I understand my principles and I know who I am, why I can look at my woman and say that is too provocative.
Or it's inappropriate.
It's inappropriate and I don't expect you to be wearing this.
But crazy.
So it's not about insecurity.
Yeah, a lot of
women view it as insecurity. But what you have is a weak-minded man, a man who is so insecure within himself that he doesn't believe that he will be able to move on and find someone else who looks just as good as you. The secure man is saying, "Hey,
I value what you have, and I need you to value it too."
No, exactly. Yeah. But not only that, the secure man is saying within himself that, "Hey, I know who I am.
I'm not take no food.
And I'm not going to sit down and take your crap. I'm going to move forward and I'm definitely going to find me someone who deserves
who values themselves as well.
Who values themselves and who deserves to have me as a man in their life. So it's not about insecurity. It's a lack of security within a man who allows his woman to do anything. And the crazy thing is, I strongly believe, and I would put any amount of money on this, if a woman is with a man who allows her to do anything that she wants, I bet you it will come a point in time when she leaves. Women don't like men who they can walk over. So it's a contradiction within the argument. On the one end, they want a man who allows them to do what they want. Oh, let women be women, But at the same time, if the man is shown to be too weak and allows,
just anything, he's a pushover.
And a lot of women have said that to me, that in their last relationship, oh, he allowed me to do anything that I wanted to do. And so, it was just different. Women want men who are strong-minded, who are confident within themselves, men who are men. Not men who act weak and feminine and act as though, oh my God, she's the best girl I've ever spoken to, so I'm just going to allow her to do whatever she wants. No, that's a weak-minded male, But those are some of the things that I dealt with in this culture, and that is why it was so difficult for me to find a genuine relationship.
Yes. Say when I got through, and after I went through all of that, I'm like, if it's not you, I don't want nobody else. Yeah. Because I understood your values.
Right.
I understood that you're very hardworking. you're very handsome.
Mm.
You're very dedicated, very disciplined. You know, you have your head on your body. You don't just sound good. You are good at your core. And that's something I couldn't find here. You know, a lot of guys look good. A lot of girls look good, but they have no roots, no values.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
I'm so happy that I found you.
Of course, me too.
Again,
you know, sometimes when I think about it, I could not see myself with anyone else but you. You know, talk about the cultural differences and the cultural barrier, like the mindset, like it's just so crazy to me. And then I was in this place in my life where I was caught up in the whole mindset of the IG body.
Yes, sir. The truth comes out.
You know? And what I realized is that I kept on attracting the same type of women. So you have men who, the challenge they have in relationships is that they keep finding the same women
expecting
or the same
results.
woman in different persons.
Oh, insanity.
And you have women who complains about the high value, you know, the quote unquote high value, because it's just crazy where money is what defines value. But you have women who they keep looking for the 6 feet, the 6-figure guys. They keep dating them, keep having the challenges, and they complain about
and
it.
They still go back at it.
Still go back, and they try to find the same type of guys in different persons.
You know what that is?
What is that?
Insanity. Insanity.
It's madness.
Madness.
You know? But it's crazy. So you have the guys who they keep trying to find this IG body. If you keep looking for those materialistic things and those physical attributes, and you neglect the values, the intrinsic values, as you mentioned, then of course you're going to keep having challenges in relationship.
And you know, this problem can only be solved when people do introspection. When you look within yourself and see where you are, identify your issues, really get to the root of who you are. Who am I?
Right.
You know, I think we mentioned in one of our previous videos, or we were having a personal conversation about identity crisis. Nobody knows who they are, especially not in this culture. People don't know who they are. You know, and as soon as something comes around, we people just latch on to it. Like feminism comes around, oh, that's my thing.
Yeah.
Or Black Lives Matter comes around, I latch on to that. You know, like, no, sit with yourself. Figure out who you are. What are your values? Know your history. Sit and put pen to paper. Figure out who you are. And then relationships
come after.
There's no way you're going to try to figure out who somebody is and you don't know who you are.
That's balls.
Who are you?
You're spitting balls right there.
Why for that? No, sir.
Bars.
Enunciate, please, because I don't.
Bars. You're spitting bars.
All right. So yeah. So get to know who you are, because I think there has been a lot of things that have been going on behind the scenes in this country and in the West that contributes to the way people are. You know. And thank God for the few immigrants that come here and create that, you know, that dynamic to add some form of variety and some roots to the system. But yeah, figure out who you are.
And I have to say, big up to all of the real youth them who come a foreign and them come here and them not get caught up in the fast life.
Oh no.
In the get rich quick mentality.
Schemes,
the schemes, they come, they stay focused.
I feel that though.
They your wife he come, but they forward here, and you know, they just keep their heads on their body. They stay focused, keep their heads above the water, and they just stay out of problems and troubles, and they just stay focused and work hard and try to grow and develop and become successful, you know. So really officer shout out to the man them who
And-
really come and stay focused.
And to the women that come here and have not gotten entangled in the fast life and the fast fashion, and your head is still, you know, level, and you are still you're aligned with your values and your roots. Do not allow the difference in culture to sway you. I'm telling you, a lot of times I look at my life and I'm like, wow, I am so glad that I have the roots that I have. I'm so happy that I'm Jamaican.
Yeah.
And as I said, Jamaica is not paradise. It's not the most perfect place on
planet Earth. A lot of people view it as paradise.
But a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the values that I've learned from my culture, no matter if I'm rich or I'm poor, I will always be grateful for that heritage. Yeah. Always.
Yeah, that's true. There is a war happening between men and women.
Oh, yeah.
And
how is that going to be quenched?
Men and women have to realize, and as I said before previously, that when it comes to relationships, we are not so much different.
Yeah.
We all desire the same things. Men and women also need to realize that we're all full of crap.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Man cheat, woman cheat. Man give on, woman give on.
Like,
you know?
Yeah.
So the challenges you find is not only with men, and the challenges you find is not only with women.
I will realize that
but if we continue to view it like that, if men continue, because I think that men have gotten to the place where they are so fed up with women. And as I've heard a lot of males saying that they don't like women, but they're just with them because of the benefits it comes with. That's sad. And women are saying that them hate men. And you have those who said that we don't need men, and it's just crazy, because I believe that together we can do better than apart, you know. But we have to start realizing and start understanding that there's a war going on, and it's a war that has us so pinned against each other to the point where if we don't find a way to fix it, it's going to consume us.
Can you imagine a civil war between men and women? Just women on this side and all pink, and men on that side all blue, and then with just pitchforks and everything. Can you just imagine?
To that. As I said, both parties are full of crap. We just need to realize that I'm full of crap, she's full of crap. So guess what? We're going to have to find a way to bridge the gap. I'm going to look within myself. I'm going to do some self-introspection, self-reflection, and look at what I need to change and try to bring
your best to the table.
My best to the table. Yes. And the woman is going, you know, both parties just have to compromise. The woman will have to look at herself to say that, listen, she might find him, but he might not work 6 figures. He might work $60,000 a year. You know, there has to be some compromise, and people have to realize that this men against women, it's nonsense, and it's only going to consume us all if we continue down this same path.
Yeah.
And women need to realize that they have to be more realistic in what they desire from men.
And men
because we are not living in biblical days where wealth was being passed down through generation. This is a dog eat dog world. That's what we're living in, and men have a difficult time making it to the top, but strong men are fighting to get there. You know, and men need to realize that the woman might not be an IG body, but she might have an IG body potential. You understand what I'm saying? Don't think about it now. The woman might not have all the curves in place at the moment, at the time, in the position.
Yes.
Right? But if you are got gym and you are so into fitness, she has the desire to go, but she's not there yet. But with your support, it might bring her closer to that goal.
Yeah.
You know, compromise.
Yeah.
You know, so that we have to compromise. We
just have to work together.
And work together.
Yeah, definitely.
And make it work.
Honestly.
You know, and the man might not have the 6 figures yet, but he might work towards it.
Yeah, definitely. So, And honestly, I think about it, and I could have gone down that rabbit hole
Mhm.
and join the ranks of women who loathe men.
Mm.
Had I not had my experience with you, had I not seen the type of person my dad is
Mhm.
today, had I not experienced good men and realized that what I'm seeing here within this culture is not the end all,
Right.
you know? And I think we're gonna have to do, I don't know if it's a part 2 or what, or just a
Follow-up to
video
this.
or a
Yeah.
follow-up video to this, talking about just, I think there's more to it.
Yeah.
How did you escape being a part of the black pill the black pill? How did
The
you
red
escape
pill
being a
community?
part of the red pill community? And how did I escape being a part of the pink pill community, if there's such a thing? And it may not have to be a long conversation, but how I escaped,
Mhm.
you know, going down the rabbit hole of being a part of the group of women who loathe men,
Right.
you know?
Mhm.
That's something, because there are a lot, babe. When I tell you, I went in researching.
Mm.
If I did not have the Lord on my side,
Wow.
I wouldn't even be able to stand you right now.
And I think that's what really makes the difference, because people need to understand God never intended relationships to be of such where he was excluded.
That's right.
You know, what God expected and intended for humanity was that we would have a relationship with him as the foundation.
That's right.
And I always say this: the woman doesn't believe and love God more than how she loves you.
Mm-hmm.
There is no guarantee that she will not stray.
A problem. Mm-hmm.
And if the man doesn't love God and believe in God more than how he loves his woman, then it's a high possibility
he's gonna stray too.
He's going to stray. Because I always say this to you also. If I ask you if you would ever cheat on me and you tell me no, is that to me is the first sign of doubt. Because I know that you are not capable within yourself to not cheat on me. You can make a choice not to put yourself in the position to cheat. That's a whole different story.
That's a big thing.
Right? And I can tell you that, listen, I cannot guarantee you that I will never cheat on you. What I can guarantee is that I will never put myself in the position to cheat. You know, because we are feeble human beings. And what keeps us is the power of the Almighty God.
That's true.
You know, it is my belief and relationship with God that is going to keep me from falling. Not my love for you.
No.
Right? And it is that same belief that makes me want to walk on the straight and narrow. Right? So if I should only bank on the fact that I love my wife so I would never cheat, bam, I would have already failed. You know, so we need a higher power. And that power is the Almighty God.
Yeah. And that's why the scripture says, now to him that is able to keep you from falling. You know, it's he who keeps us from falling. And we are so happy that you all stayed with us this long for this video.
For this conversation.
For this conversation.
Which was 1 in a million. Right, well,
okay.
I try for right.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for joining us on this conversation. Please join us in the comment section and share your experiences of what it was like for you dating within this culture. What are some things you have observed? We would love to know that. Share your comments and let's grow as a community together.
And remember, please share your thoughts. We want to be able to use some of those comments to even have a whole discussion.
Yes.
You know, there are days when we're planning to go live, and hey, that's a place where you all can come and be a part of those conversations. Yeah. All right. Stay tuned, guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you on the next one on Unfiltered Heart Talks with the Dawkins.